Hello everyone, so just thought I'd pop up another video, and I've been meaning to do this one for an age and I've got sidetracked with the Christmas giveaway video and all the rest of it. But the video that I've been wanting to do, which goes hand in hand with all my other kind of DIY night vision videos, and it's something that I have had for a while now, is a spotter. So I'm just going to show you hopefully quickly on how to put one of these together. Now if you've kind of followed my builds with regards to the night vision builds generally, you should be quite fair on how to put a normal night vision kit together to add onto your scope. This is very easy. Not too easy, but it's easy enough. Some lightweight tools that you need, a couple of drill bits, and that's about it. The main thank you for this one is John Cairns, a very good member of the Night Vision Builders group. He's got a lovely list of items that are there on the group. Literally just buy the parts off there and off you go. So if you followed my video, hand in hand with the parts, and obviously by all means please say thank you to John, because he was the one who hunted out these little parts. Yeah, we should be able to put all this together. So without further ado, let's see what we can put together. So here we go. So what I'm going to do initially is start just laying out the parts, and then what we'll do is go into the build. So one of the main things that you need is a pistol grip like this. Again, if you go on the Night Vision Builders group, there's a full files section, and within there it'll actually tell you where to get this pistol grip on. I'm not going to take the thunder from this. This has very much been a John Cairns find. Very good, very sturdy, and does the trick. So by all means please join the group and then find the files. So that's one item. You'll need then a project box. This project box here is a one from here in the UK from Maplin. It costs £3 or £3.89 or something like that. So that's that. Then we need to have something to connect to a little power supply. So I've got two little spade connectors and a 2.1 DC jack. I've got a 20mm pipe connector. This will be for holding the torch on, and just some random screw nuts that I found lurking around. I've got them all over the place, I think, can't remember why. And then the main items are the screen. I've opted for a 3.5 TFT screen, and I also use a camera board like so. And then the final part is again from the Night Vision Builders group. This is a 6 to 60mm lens. Very good, I think. It's got a wide in telephoto zoom, and also an open and close iris, and then you've got your normal focus ring. I think that's the right order, but without having it on the camera I don't know. So that's almost the last parts that you need, and you do need, I've lost it, is a CS mount. This will be the kind of the converting of moving it from this camera mounting to your board. But what we'll do is we'll just go through that now. With your board, I just recommend initially just pulling these off, because you will need to eventually. So just give them a slight tug. Be relatively gentle with these, because they can be, depending on the supplier, a bit fidgety at best, and sometimes you can end up breaking the cables, which if I do that, well, no I didn't, so that's fine. So we just put that to one side at the moment. Then all you need to do for here, you've got two screws, one here, one here. All I want to do is take these out. Then what you do is just pull that apart, and then what you've got is a mount that's going to be redundant unless you want to keep it, and also the lens that's on the side. Then what we want to do is then mount this on top of here. Now, depending on where you get your lens mount from, they will generally supply you with the correct screws that will be needed, because you will find that the thread patterns are different. When you do find your said screws that you've left around on your desk, you will also, depending again from your supplier, you should get almost like a gasket. Now this can almost be a balancing act, it's true, right? But what I've found is if you put the gasket around like so and then put your lens mount over the top, you should be able to flip over quite nicely to allow you to then screw in the holes. So and then once you've got one screw in, just gently tighten up, not tight as it's totally tight, but tight enough to make a secure fitting. And then what you might have to do is move on the pivot of the other screw to find that it holds. There you go, so you're part way there already. So we'll just pop that to one side. The next part will be to take your plastic case like so, and what we want to do is we want to drill a 25mm hole in the centre of here. Now in the methodology that's been spoken of before with other members of the Night Vision Builders group, you can use a Dremel to actually kind of make this part here countersunk in there. Now that is advantageous because it gives you a little bit more clearance. So if you want to be installing anything like a DVR, like I've had in my previous video, or a battery pack within here, then that's fine. You can do it that way and it gives you a bit more space. I'm not going to do this kit with the built-in battery pack. The reason being is I believe that the weight, I want to keep the weight down as much as I can when you're holding it out in your hand. But again, so what we'll do is we'll just drill a 25mm hole through here. I won't go through the motions and I'll just skip to one that I prepared earlier. So here's one in the true Blue Peter style that I've prepared earlier, and all we need to do is to offer this through like so, and you're generally given about a thread and a half depending on how you want to look at it. Now in terms of the way I put this in, I put the levers at the top and this little notch at the bottom, and the reason why I do that is because with the camera board, when you screw this on, this part here, if that's at the bottom, that generally means that that weight is up, if that makes any sense. So when you're connecting your screen up and wiring it, it will it'll appear the right way up. So the trick is to just slightly move it around gently, but not excessively, to the point where you've got a tight fit. Don't go too nutty with the tightening up of this because you will break the camera board. But as you can see, that's quite a firm fit, it's not going anywhere. The weight and so on is not going to really impact this. Others will probably refute doing this method, but it works for me and so I'm fine with it. So moving on to the next part. So the next part is basically getting the screen onto this, left or right hand, it doesn't matter. So I've got to get this screen to mount in here. Now the method that I've used before in one of my previous videos, going all the way back to the DIY Night Vision first attempt, I kind of drilled a hole in here to make sure that this fit essentially like so, and that's exactly what I'm going to do this time around. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my 40mm hole saw, drill a hole in here, and also you'll notice down the side of one area that you'll see that there's a number of notches for altering the screen. I want to obviously make a space for them, and also the cable down here. So initially, well, just below centre, 40mm hole here, That'll do the trick of getting that sunk in here. And then what I'll do is I'll just glue that all in and then route through the cables. So that's what we'll do. So due to a Steven Spielberg editing cut, or namely the fact that I didn't press record on the video after I did the last cut, I did all this, cutting out, and didn't record it. But essentially this is on how it'll fit. So you've got your 40mm hole, drill a hole down here at the bottom to groove out for the cable to come through from my screen, and also, oops, the side, you can see where I've etched out for the button, so I've still got access if I want to play around with that. I've also drilled a 6mm hole in the bottom, and I've also drilled a power supply for my DC jack, and I've also drilled a little, I believe that's like 4mm hole in the top. It might actually be small, it might be a 3mm from a little top part. So not the full video that I'm going to want to, so this will be a down in the dumps perspective, but what I'll do is I'll just crack on. So you can now, if you wish, take your handle, and because it's a 6mm, the threads on here just grip it quite nicely. What you want to do is twist it. It's got a nice little threaded part here to allow you to tighten up the threads. You don't want to go too much with it. You can get an additional nut on here. I've not bothered. I've got some lurking around, but you won't get anything with that anyway. So all I want to do now is add in our DC jack. Place it in like so, and then get, where have they gone? Get my washer on there. I'll tighten that up shortly. Then what I then want to do is, you've seen me before where I cut this part off from the lead that you get with your camera, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you on how to attach these 3 wires. If you've seen me do this before, this will not be irrelevant, but for those who first watch this, by all means just keep on watching and you'll see how it's done, nice and neat. So just show you how to do this wiring. Very easy. Take a craft knife like so. I'm going to make a small cut along here. You're generally left with most of these, and also this. Sometimes a white wire. This will generally denote that it's a audio wire, so we can get rid of it like so. And using some decent wire strippers, strip back, oops, strip out the wires, like so. Now we want to do the same with these. Same kind of length. Like so. Right. So, with your yellow cable, what I do is I get some of this. This is shrink something or other. We want just about an inch worth of it. What you do is just slide it over. I prefer using it on this one here. I'll take the opposite number and twist together. So nothing too difficult from this perspective. What I then do is just fold it over, bring that over like so. Then taking a source of heat, I use a gas powered soldering iron, and do this without burning your fingers. There you go, so that's how you do that. Right, now what we'll want to do is attach the power supply using the spade connectors. So with your two spade connectors, what you want to do, get black wires first. You can do red, it's not going to matter. What you want to do is get them together and twist. I've done previously. And what I tend to do two folds, oops, like so, and taking your spade connector, pushing it through until you get to see the end of the copper wire just to the top of this red part here, and taking your chosen set of pliers, take a grip, and then before squeezing really tight, just make sure everything lines up and give it a good old squeeze. Two-handed approach does well. There you go, that's nicely secured. Now what we want to do is then repeat the same for the red wire. I'll do this all the way through just so you can just see on how it's all easily put together. Again, folding over once, and another time as well. The reason I do that is it just makes it a little bit thicker for these spade connectors to connect, because sometimes they can be flaky, but this way it seems to work quite well for me, especially when you're pressing down. And also just keep your eye on that wire coming through, so whilst it might appear secure initially, it won't be. So there you go. So then next you need to do is put your power supply on, and just out of, because I've done this a few times now, the middle of these two is the negative, and the shorter of the two shorter of the two positive. Just whilst you just notice there, another thing that I've noticed with these spade connectors, whilst they do slip over, they don't slip over the best or the most securely, so sometimes what you have to do is just crimp them shut slightly. Again, don't overdo this because you will end up having to pull off the spade connector again and refit it. What I do is do both sides just slightly, slight little pinch, and that should do it. There you have it. So that's that part there, and then the next part, again remembering that it is this 3-pin part here that will denote whether it's up or down. Just slide that in. It'll only go in one way, so you can't get it wrong. fits like so. And typical, I've lost the screws. Oh, here we go. No, there's the wrong screws. Now so the screws are found. And there we have it. One spotter finished. And just to prove it all works, the battery, put the battery on. There, presto. All working. Don't know whether you can see that on there, but I have got a little smudge of an image. Probably looking back, you also need to be careful of whilst you're building this, not to get any fingerprints on it, but it's easy enough to do. You can take the lens off and clean it. So there you go, that's on how to build a spotter. Apart from, I missed that bit off. That's just a drill screw thing. I'll finish that off. But there you go.